It was an incredible start to the 2026 1UP Nitro National Series season at Daytona a couple weeks ago, with DJ Kurtis scoring the victory in his first career start. Now that he's got some experience under his belt, can he go back-to-back from a top 10 starting spot today here at Rockingham Speedway for race number 2 of the 2026 season? 25 races total, and this is the second one here in the hills of North Carolina. And alongside me in the booth to bring you all the action for today's race is Duke Ansack back with us once again. Great to have you with us. This is our first non-super speedway of the season, and for a lot of guys, that is a welcome change.
Yeah, definitely. You know, the super speedways, you can't discredit anybody or really say like, oh, it's easy to win, but it's just a different type of animal. There's a large element of luck involved, and I think a lot of these drivers are ready now that we're through Daytona to just get back to a track that maybe doesn't involve as much luck to be up at the front near the end. So this should be a really good race here at Rockingham. It's a high banked short track with a lot of character, a lot of bumps, and a lot of rough surface. So this should be a really fun race, and I am excited to see some cars on the track today.
Absolutely, with 79 laps on the card today, one pit stop on the table. There's a lot of room for strategy here in this race, which could very well decide who ends this race in victory lane. As we can now bring you the starting lineup for today's 79 laps of action. Brandon Smith on pole position, still looking for that first career Nitro National Series victory. Could it come today? He had such a strong run in Vermont last year, didn't get the win that day. Could this be the day for him instead? Alongside him, David Richardson, a career-best start for the sophomore driver of Fair & Co. Racing. And behind him, likewise, Cameron Lassard with a career-best start for his new team at Revolution Racing. Could we see one of them get to victory lane for the very first time? And same case for Angel Gutierrez starting fourth. He's never been to victory lane in the Nitro National Series before. We've got 2 rows full of fresh faces. Any of them would be deserving winners, but you got to go back to 9th place to find last time out's winner, DJ Kurtis. Let's see what he can do on a normal racetrack this time around.
Yeah, certainly. And, you know, this is going to be pretty interesting because it's not like you can't make up positions here at Rockingham. You could certainly make up a lot of spots, move up through the field, and then absolutely fall down through the field as well. So you're going to have to keep your car clean. You're going to have to stay in your position here. Track position is not going to be unimportant today. But, yeah, and then like you said, the strategy is going to come into play. It's going to be a full team effort across the board for whoever is able to win here at Rockingham.
So with that being said, we've got 42 drivers set to take on the Rock here this afternoon. We are ready to bring you that action now. It is the 1UP Nitro National Series for Rockingham Speedway, race number 2 of the year, and the green flag set to get this great race underway in just a short while. Stay tuned for that. Should be a good one here this afternoon. Getting set to get underway here at Rockingham, Smith and Richardson on the front row, leading us to the restart zone. The green flag's now in the air, and Angel Gutierrez wasting no time. He wants to duck out right away. Terzic further back has already made the jump to the outside, as has Noah Hart even further back. But that outside line, I don't expect to get a great launch off the line, and sure enough it hasn't. Richardson already drops back 2 spots.
No, in fact, 3 of the drivers who start on the inside lane nose to tail are now 1, 2, 3 in this race, going through turns 3 and 4, and a 4th has come through as well, maybe a 5th. That outside lane is terrible right now. Look at this 10 car dropping like a rock.
Yeah, but he's gonna find a spot in line fairly soon because he did a great job qualifying up there. He's just got to find a spot in line to ride for the moment. Angel Gutierrez started 4th. He did that earlier. Yes, and Richardson slots in 8th place. But up at the front, Brandon Smith has taken off like a rocket, and he's brought Cameron Lassard with him. Richardson, as we said, settles into 8th position as the top 10, mostly single file. Villalobos, though, trying to take a look to the inside of AJ Zhao.
Yeah, and this is interesting so far, how they kind of single-filed out here on the bottom lane. You know, with a track with banking like this, I guess maybe it's to be expected that you're going to want to run closer to the bottom. That's the shorter way around, and with all that banking, it's going to be a lot easier to carry your momentum through the corner lower on the track. But we'll see maybe as the tires start to wear if people slide up the track a little bit and use that wider lane to carry momentum down the straightaways, it might just work. But to start this race, there's a hornet's nest in the back, but the front, the outside lane was just awful. So, yeah, David Richardson way far back in the order, all the way back to 8th after starting 2nd.
But that's still a very solid position for him. He's yet to get a top 10 in his career in this series, so if he can hang on to a spot like that, that'll be pretty solid for him, I would say. As Lessard has settled himself out in the 2nd spot, that would be a career best for him if he were to finish there. Now Villalobos getting into a battle of AJ Zhao once again for the 3rd position. These Robbers racing cars, they were fast in practice, and 2 of them right now running in the top 5, 4th and 5th, Villalobos and Gutierrez.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And Gutierrez started on the outside too, in the 4th position, 2nd on the outside lane, but was able to drop down a lot earlier than the 10 car was. So a really solid spot, only lost 1 on the opening lap of this race. A really good position for both of those Robbers racing cars.
And their other teammate, Riley Hooper, started a little lower in this field. He started down in 12th. You expect him to be right around the top 15, ready to make a charge into the top 10 when he can. But up at the front, AJ Zhao has cleared Villalobos, and now he's setting off after Lessard in their battle for the runner-up spot. This is going to be an interesting fight because Lessard, I'm sure, would love nothing more than to get up to Brandon Smith's back bumper, trying to fight for his first career win. But he's got a long road to get there. He's got a big lead that he's got to claw into.
And here's DJ Kurtis, our Daytona winner, here at the Rock, doing solid right now, sitting there in the 6th position. That's up from the 9th starting position for the 22 car. Really good run right on the rear bumper of Angel Gutierrez right now. Maybe taking a look down into turn 1 in this corner. Not going to be enough this time. However, maybe making a move in the next couple of laps for the BetMGM Ford there.
But meanwhile, his teammate Brandon Smith has extended his lead. It's almost a second out in front now over Cameron Lessard in 2nd spot. But you're right, Kurtis doing a really solid job in that 22, just running where his car can give him right now. He's got the points lead going into today. All he's got to do now is maintain that gap. As we look a little further back, Richardson settled into 8th. Wyatt Junkman settling himself down into 9th spot and creating a bit of distance now between himself and 10th place Stanley Andrews in the 33 for Stormbreak Motorsports here. Solid run out of him in the car, but he blows the engine going into turn 1. We just started talking about him, and just like that, Stanley Andrews from a top 10 run in this race to the first retirement of this race. A very disappointing end to Stanley Andrews' race. He's not going to make it back to the pit lane, not by a long shot.
Wow, that is shocking right there in the middle of the corner for that Mercedes. Just completely blew the engine, gone, expired on that machine, and just dropped totally out of this race. That is a shocking development.
Yeah, and we had just started talking about him too, which is I hate to say it's a commentator's curse, but we really didn't get a chance to talk about him all that much before his engine went boom. But what that has done is that's created a huge separation between 9th and 10th place, which 10th place has now gone to his teammate, ironically enough, Jacob Buchholz in this 31 car for the same team. So it's not. I'm
huge
sure.
Group here.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not what Stormbreak was I know it's not what Stormbreak was hoping for. They wanted 2 cars up in the mix, but Jacob Buchholz now takes the baton and will try and salvage something for the beleaguered Mercedes team.
Well, and the thing is, they're going to have to calm down this driver over the radio. You know, Buchholz was just sitting there and watched his teammate go up in smoke. So I think that they're going to have to let him know that, like, hey, you know, our car is going to handle this better. We're going to be okay through the rest of this race. It's early here. Got a lot more laps left to run. Just to take it easy, keep that position. And right now, lots of clear track ahead with some clean air on that 31 car, so he's going to be able to go forward here. Meanwhile, these guys, wow, this is a hornet's nest back here. They are, this is some intense racing for position farther back in the back.
And you see here Cody Lamas, who was doing such a good job at Daytona before fading late. He's running in 23rd spot behind Noah Hart and in front of Yadis Terzic, who had a bold move at the very start of the race. Didn't quite work out for him. Here are some guys I'm a little surprised to see this far back in the field. quick note of Boston Shaw making his series debut for Incendia Motorsports. But these are the guys I was talking about. Jake McMillan in the 20 and David Meske in the 29, both of whom are top caliber drivers and top caliber cars. I'm very surprised to see running down in 30th and 31st at this stage.
Yeah, you have to wonder if they're just saving their stuff a little bit right now in the race, or if they just can't really go anywhere. It could be certainly one of those two options. And
keep in mind, though, they both started on the outside to start this race.
That's true. That is true. So they easily could have fallen back a lot on the start of this race just by the nature of starting on the outside lane.
But meanwhile, one driver who has not had any issues this race so far is Brandon Smith. He's got a 2-second lead now over Cameron Lassard. AJ Zhao still runs third ahead of the two Robbers cars, but DJ Kurtis just lurking back there. This is the first real litmus test to see how Kurtis will acclimate to these Nitro National cars, and so far, I'd say he's passing that test with flying colors. As McMillan makes a unexpected trip down pit road, we think he's got a tire going down on that 20.
Oh boy. Well, maybe, I mean, if he had been feeling that for a while in this race, there's easily a chance that could be why he had fallen from 10th all the way down to 30th in this one. So a 4-tire stop for Jake McMillan in the 20 car on lap 19. Not when you want to be making a pit stop here in this race, but the 20 car going to head back out on the track, hope for maybe an incident or a caution that would bring that car back up towards the racing that's happening ahead. So this is a tough break for that team.
Yeah, and keep in mind as well, this will drop Jake McMillan 2 laps down, so he's going to have to earn one of his laps back the hard way. The good news for him, he's got 20 lap fresher tires than everyone else now. I expect him to storm his way back from he's about 9 seconds off the lead right now. I would expect him to claw that back very easily, but this is going to be interesting because I don't think he has to make another pit stop for the rest of this race. If he chooses to stay out for the rest of the race, where is this going to cycle him out to?
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's really, really early, for a pit stop, but sometimes short pitting works. I think that right now, you're going to suffer too much on the backside of this run. When everybody else pits, you're going to have some really old tires, and you're going to have to go a long time on those tires to really make it to the end there. So, hey, it was out of necessity. Maybe it could turn into a little strategy call. He might have to save a little bit of gas to make it there, but he's going to be okay. We're going to see how it all plays out. He might lead a few laps in this one due to this situation here, but we'll see if he's able to keep it. Not sure.
The good news for him is this isn't the end of the world. At least this didn't happen to him in tomorrow's race, where he's actually racing for the championship here. This is his first of only a handful of starts this season. He was only really going for the win, and that may be out the window now, so he might be using this as a bit of a test now to see how the rest of his races go at other tracks. But he's already caught up to the back of Wyatt Junkman in the 38 to try and get around him. This is not for position, of course. McMillan 2 laps down, Junkman in 9th spot. But like I said, McMillan would not surprise. He's already made up like 3 seconds of that 9-second gap that he had to the leader, Brandon Smith.
Yeah, and you can see that car just turn so much easier in the middle of the corner. Gets right down on there. And here's Paul Villalobos making a little move on the 98 car for position in the top 5. Great job from the 66 to get underneath and make the pass. And here comes the 72, his teammate, right behind him, or at least going to try to. We'll see how that goes. But right now, Villalobos up one more spot into the 3rd position.
And bear in mind, Villalobos is actually pulling double duty this weekend. He's got his Superstar Series debut coming up tomorrow for that race for Robbers Racing, running part-time there. That's a huge opportunity for him. He had such a strong truck season last year. He's already turning heads in the Nitro National Series. I expect his Superstar debut to go just as well. We'll see how that goes tomorrow. But meanwhile, David Meske still back in the field. I'm a little surprised he hasn't made a little more headway in this race, but so far he's just managing his stuff. And oh wow, here's AJ Zhao, who was running 3rd just a couple laps ago. He's now fallen all the way down to the 8th position.
Wow, it looks like he may have gotten caught on the outside lane, but I wonder if the tires have gone on that 98 car, because that was a lot of positions lost in a really short amount of time. Maybe had a bobble, maybe had a moment when the 20 was trying to go by. This 20 is fast and furious through the top 10 here, trying to get a lap back. But yeah, that's fascinating. I thought it was interesting that the 66 was able to get by in the middle of the corner like that. So maybe the 98 is having a little bit of trouble with that machine.
But Villalobos, he's got no problems whatsoever because he's already caught up to the back of Cameron Lassard in their fight for second. McMillan, I expect, will join that fight any minute now. But Kurtis as well, he's gotten past Gutierrez to move up into the 4th position. So this is a very strong run out of EJ Kurtis, and it wouldn't surprise me at all to see him challenging the likes of Lassard and Villalobos for a podium position before too long.
Sure, I think that's totally possible. And look at the speed that this team car has. The lead right now, the 92, of course, is 3.3 seconds ahead of second place, has led every single lap in this race, and obviously set the pole. So we know those cars have speed. DJ Kurtis can certainly wheel it. We'll see what happens if he can get up there. But yeah, watch Jake McMillan go to the bottom. He was really the catalyst for all of that movement we had kind of within the top 10, because he would go to the bottom and shuffle everybody up as he went by, and that changed up some of the positions. But here he goes up past the second place car, or about to pass the second place car, and then he's going to set his sights on the 92 and possibly getting that lap back.
Yeah, it's interesting when we talk about the 92 and the 22 running so well. It just surprises me even more that the 29's not up here with them. Of course, he got held up on the start, dropped him way down the order, but I'm surprised he hasn't fought his way further up the field than this. But it's still early. We still have about half this race to go, and we still have a pit stop to make for good measure. Yeah,
and even then, Meske qualified in 18th position, which is significantly farther back than his teammates. So that is, pretty surprising overall from the 29 team. Maybe they were trying something different this weekend, and it so far has not been playing out. Maybe they can revert back to something maybe more similar to what their teammates have at the pit stop, and then continue this race from that point and try to salvage some sort of result.
And meanwhile, here is Eric DeMax trying to make a move on Angel Gutierrez for a spot in the top 5. This is for 5th. DeMax, of course, the defending champion. He had a really strong weekend at Daytona in both series he competed in. He led the most laps in the Nitro National race, and he ran top 10 all day in the Daytona 500 for the Superstar Series, got top 10 finishes in both races. This is a guy with a lot of momentum, and so far he's trying to prove it, trying to make the move on Gutierrez for a top 5 spot.
For sure, and this is the race has kind of calmed down a little bit here. We're on lap 35. There's not a ton of movement. Obviously, we've had the 20 car moving up through the top 10 to try to get one of the 2 laps back. And here's a little battle for the second position, But other than that, it's kind of just strung out a little bit, spread out a little bit after the blown engine in the middle of the field. And now we've got Brandon Smith. He's encountering some lap cars. There's Kanauka right in front of him and the 20 car right behind him. So this will be an interesting moment for the 92. But yeah, how well can the 92 get through the lap cars now and keep the pace up so that these 2 cars in second and third, and of course 4th closing quickly behind him with a reasonable gap. We'll see what happens.
And we're fast approaching halfway in this race, so if Brandon Smith finds himself having a little bit of trouble with these lap cars, he can just bring it down pit road, put some fresh tires on, and try to do it that way. Because we're at the point now where you can pit and easily make it to the end of the race on fuel and tires. McMillan's going to have a bit of a struggle to do so, but everybody else is now in the window to do that. But yeah, Brandon Smith's having a little trouble getting around the 7, the 13 of Jesse Johns, who had a super strong run at Daytona, coming back to reality a little bit for that Express Motorsports team. But let's see what the gap is between Smith and Lassard. So far, it's pretty much held steady at 4.4 seconds.
Yeah, I think this will be the lap that it really starts to suffer. The 7 and the 13 just not really allowing the 92 to get through. I agree with you. I think that we're going to start considering seeing some pit stops here. Smith should be the first one on pit road to really make a defense move here. And if you can't make this pass, you just got to make a pit stop here. Only 0.2 lost that time. Maybe it's not that big of a deal. While the second and third place cars are battling a little bit. But look at this, the 92 right on the bumper of the 7 car trying to get by, but just can't find any room, can't find the speed to make that move happen.
Yeah, and we'll see what the gap comes down to this time around between Smith and Lassard right here. Yeah, that's 4/10 gone between in that gap. So Smith, I would be very surprised if he keeps it out for too many more laps. But it wouldn't surprise me at all to see maybe some guys further back try an overcut to try and get fresh tires at the end of the run, try and chase down Brandon Smith. Obviously, Lassard's not going to be the one to do it. Villalobos and Kurtis might not be either. But maybe someone further back, David Richardson, AJ Zhao, they've got nothing to lose. 7th and 8th, almost 8.5 seconds off the lead. Why not?
I agree. And, I think that these guys who are running 2nd, 3rd, 4th, they should really be considering making a pit stop and trying to beat the 92 onto the pit lane. If you just do the same exact strategy as Brandon Smith, you aren't going to have any sort of advantage on him. And I think that you need 1 or 2 laps, fresher tires, to run and try to catch this car, especially while he's just stuck behind the 7. Look at that. He was right up on his bumper, and he couldn't even get by on the corner entry, and he's not pitting this time. So I really think that people should consider pitting right now. If you're the 54, the 66, or even the 22, pit now.
They all stayed out this time.
Him. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, you got to try to beat this driver by hitting the pit lane now and setting a couple of fast laps on fresh tires while he's stuck at his absolute slowest in this whole race.
The main thing I'd worry about, though, if you do that is you might come out into traffic of your own, and they might really hold you up when you're trying to do fast out laps. So I'm not sure. There's a fine line there. There's a balance to strike, but I agree with you. I think Lassard and Villalobos have kind of missed the boat here coming down by not coming into pit road sooner.
Yeah, I don't know, because Smith is just, look, he's going to pit right now. Yeah, here he comes in, unless he has a problem. Yeah, he's coming into the pit, so, and then everybody's going to follow. DJ Kurtis going to stay out, try a little bit of an overcut here, but yeah, I think that that's a big mistake from 2nd and 3rd place to wait until the leader pitted to come in. I think that that's going to be detrimental. One of these other overcut strategies is going to have to work if anybody has a shot of really beating the 92 today. The 92 has just been absolutely lights out.
As most of the field comes down pit road this time, DJ Kurtis waits a lap. He's going to come down. Gutierrez, though, he's going to stay out another lap with Eric DeMax. These guys are going for the overcut. See if they can get some fresh tires late in this race to try and make something happen here. I think
they get really lucky. They could catch people a lap down right now. Everybody's going to be exiting the pits while everybody's entering the pits, so this is going to be a fascinating moment. On the pit lane, it's going to be really dangerous here. They're going to pit now, but they're still a lap ahead.
And I think Riley Hooper, Ashton Blevins were the other 2 cars to stay out an extra lap. There they are. And there's Brandon Smith giving them a wide berth in 3 and 4. Doesn't want to risk tearing his stuff up. And there's Jake McMillan in the 20. He stayed out while everybody else has made their pit stops, and he's going to cycle out into the top 5 in this race.
Yeah, that's going to be really good. And this is going to be a big moment here for Smith. Going to be stuck in a little bit of traffic here with the 77 and others. So this is not going to be a clean race to the end for our leader, Brandon Smith, sitting here in kind of this slower traffic. Once everything cycles through, we'll see exactly what the gap looks like. But yeah, there's Brandon Smith, who should cycle to become our leader here. Kind of stuck in a big pack of cars, all on the same tire level. This is intense for our leader right now. Not where you want to be.
No, it's not, but I'm curious to see what the gap is now between Smith and Lassard, who should cycle out in the second. Yeah, 2.3 seconds.
Yeah.
So,
well,
Smith's stuck on that outside, but Lassard's got some lap cars to deal with, so they're kind of in middle ground here. Critically, Kurtis did overcut Villalobos by staying out an extra lap, so he did get that spot from the 66. And there's Jake McMillan running in 5th. I would be very surprised if he stays there, though, for the remainder of this race. His tires are already about 30 laps old.
Yeah, I mean, he is, I don't know, we'll see, because he was running in 30th before he had to make that pit stop, and of course that wasn't their chosen strategy. Obviously they wanted to stay out a bit longer, but they had that flat tire, so we'll see if the 20 car is able to stay ahead of the 30th position. If that is the case, then that's a win for the 20 to gain some positions on that crazy accidental strategy they had to pull.
And meanwhile, Lassard is starting to pull clear of Kurtis and Villalobos here, so I think if anyone's going to challenge Brandon Smith for this victory here today, it will be this 54 for Revolution Racing, the Siemens Toyota of Cameron Lassard. The problem he's got, though, is right in front of him. He's got a lot of lap traffic to navigate. He's got Mike Edwards right in front of him in the 12, a couple cars ahead. There's Blair in the 5, so this is not going to be easy for Cameron Lassard, but this is why Revolution Racing picked him up, to try and win races, and this is his best opportunity yet to get one.
Absolutely, and I think that Smith might end up in a tough situation here, not able to pass the 90, so, they've been continuing to gain time, the 54 is, and the 22 is not far behind either, so if they can navigate that traffic and they can get through it better than Smith has been able to, because Smith, this car is not as good when it's sitting right behind one of the cars at the back of the field. He just is not able to navigate through the traffic very well. It's little by little gains for the 54, but it's certainly not losses either, each lap after lap. So Lassard, in a good situation here, just needs to capitalize.
And meanwhile, Jake McMillan, I think, is starting to feel the effects of those worn tires. He's just lost 2 spots to Richardson and Gutierrez, and he might lose more to the likes of DeMax, Zhao, and Junkman further back. But like you said, as long as he can hang on to a top 30, that's still a plus of where he was running before the tire went down. But up at the front, the gap's gone down. It's now under 2 seconds between Smith and Lassard. This is going to be very interesting, especially if the likes of Alexander Rowe, Boston Shaw, and others get in Smith's way much more.
Yeah, right now he's kind of almost backed off of that 90 car. He doesn't want to really be like right up on the bumper of that car. He was having a lot of trouble passing. We have not seen Smith pass a lap car kind of heads up like this in this whole race so far. Got stuck behind the 7 of Kanalka before the pit stop, and then now was in that, kind of spent some time in that big shuffle, and then is now stuck behind the 90 of Shaw, and again, is not able to get by that car. So something about the 92 not set up very well to run in traffic, and this race has gone green the whole time, so the whole track, there's everywhere there is traffic, and there's no escape at this point. So right now he's just going to have to do what he can, but he's starting to lose some time.
And speaking of losing time, Jake McMillan, he's lost at least 10 spots since we last checked in on him. He's down to 18th already, and we still have about 23, 22 laps to go. I'm starting to think he might have to cut his losses here and try and make it go for another pit stop. But if he does hang this out to the end, he's definitely not going to get that top 30.
Yeah, if he wants to attempt some sort of 2-stop strategy in this race, obviously that's not the ideal strategy, but he would have to do it now before he loses a lot more time, because the more time he loses, the more difficult, or the farther back he'll be when he makes that pit stop. So like you said, now would be the time to cut those losses and give yourself a chance to make some passes in the remainder of this race, but I'm just not sure if they're going to try that. I think that they're going to just try to ride this one out to the end and hope they make it there. But yeah, really disappointing day for Jake McMillan.
Quick call as well to Justin Whitmer in the 32. He started this race down in 20th. He's fought his way up to the top 10 in that 32 for New England Cruisers Racing, just behind this battle between Junkman and Zhao for the 8th spot. Richardson as well, he was running top 5 after he passed McMillan, just lost that spot to Gutierrez, but still a really strong run and far and away the best Fair & Co car in this race.
Oh yeah, and 6th place, a really solid day here at Rockingham, especially in an all green flag race that we've had so far, is pretty impressive. So it's pretty much right where you want to be, just sitting there in the top 10, and if you can continue to do that, especially like the 22, we're watching DJ Kurtis. I mean, you win Daytona and then you come here, sit yourself in the top 3. I mean, that is a really good start to the season, and you're going to be up there in the points. And if you can continue doing that, top 3s, top 5s throughout the rest of the season, you don't have to win a ton, but with that strong start to the season, it makes it that much easier to just consistently be running up front, and you can find yourself in a really good spot heading into the playoffs.
Certainly, and Kurtis, as things stand right now, would still be your points leader after this. He's with a first and a third, so he's doing a solid job as they run at the moment, but there's still about just under 20 laps to go in this race. A lot can still happen between now and the checkered flag. Cameron Lassard's got that gap down now to just over a second and a half, so don't say it's over yet, because it very much isn't. If Smith has to deal with a ton of lap traffic between now and the checkered flag, this could really bring Lassard and even these two back into play.
Yeah, it definitely could. And this is a good battle right here between the 66 and the 22. They're kind of trapped between the 7 and the 43 on the track here. And here's the 54 trying to go by the 13, making a move down low. Hopefully this will work out for Lassard. Right now it doesn't look like it will. But Lassard really needs that to be able to have a shot at catching the 92 in this race, but right now still stuck behind the 13.
Yeah, and we've seen moves going into turn 1 on the inside not really work because you have to take such a shallow entry into the corner. You have to really blow it up to try and make the corner. So it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, and Lassard has just demonstrated that for us. But here, Brendan Smith, he has cleared Boston Shaw to move himself up in the running order, and now he's stuck behind the likes of Ludovic Charette, Alexander Rowe, Will Parrish, and others. So we'll see what the gap is now at the line. It's gone up to 2 seconds between Lassard. Yeah, it's up to 2.1 now. So I think Smith is just navigating the traffic a little bit better than Lassard is, and unless something big comes up later, this might be Smith's to lose.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, because the gap is sort of kind of just stalled out at about 2 seconds. Right now it's 2.1, but we'll look at this across the line, 1.9. I mean, it's been bouncing between those every couple of laps for a while in this race. So just because there's nowhere to go, I mean, when you get caught in the traffic, here's the 92. He got past the 90.
Oh, look at this hornet's nest, the traffic in front of him. Yeah, there's Jake McMillan about to go a lap down. Oh, so he's just hanging it out to the end of the race, and the punishment for that, he's lost a lap, and he is holding up a lot of lap cars here. This is going to bring Lassard into play a little bit. He's already cut the gap down to 1.2 seconds between himself and Brandon
disaster,
Smith.
This is the 20. This will not be the last time that the 20 cars pass by the leaders in this race. I don't think at that speed. It's almost like dangerous for that car to be out there, probably just barely hanging on to the minimum speed requirement at this point. So that is risky, but you're right. That cut the gap down almost in half, and you can see how close it is now. But Smith, if he were to get by Rowe in the 14, which there he goes to the bottom, he could be home free in this race with a ton of clear track ahead. And there's the 14 going behind the 92 of Brandon Smith, and this could be it, folks. Right now the 92 is going to gain a lot in comparison to those drivers that are still stuck behind traffic.
Yeah, and for Brendan Smith, this couldn't have come at a better time for him. I know there's still 10 laps to go in this race, but if he were to hang on to win this race, this wouldn't have come at a better time. His offseason, a nightmare. He was wanting to put all that behind him. It's impossible to put it all fully behind him. But for today, to get a win, in your first career win in the Nitro National Series, navigating lap traffic so superbly, this is going to make a lot more right. It's not going to fix everything for Brandon Smith, not by a long shot, but it'll certainly help the healing process a little bit more.
Absolutely, you know, a win is just going to be overall helpful. I mean, winning solves a lot of issues, and of course, with a nightmarish off season, you want to come into this next season strong and get a little bit of that confidence. And right now, the 92, I solidly believe that this is a great start to the year, and especially that whole team. I mean, the 22 winning at Daytona, now the 92 looking good here at Rockingham, and pretty much dominating this race. Just a really, really good start. Lots of confidence being inspired here amongst all those drivers, and especially for Brandon Smith.
And keep in mind as well, Other than Jeffrey Finguy's one-off win at Darlington last year in the Nitro National Series, Finguy Saitomi Motorsports went winless last year in that series with their full-time drivers, Smith and Meskey. That is very much unheard of for a race team that prides itself on being the best of the best. But look at this, Kurtis won at Daytona to get their season started off right, and now we're only about 5 laps away from Brandon Smith making it 2 for 2 for the team.
That's true, and it's a really impressive the turnaround. I mean, it's we'll see what happens with the 29 car. I mean, that is David Meskey is a bit concerning today. However, we'll see what happens with these 3 cars. But so far, we know they have the speed. They are absolutely on fire out front right now, driving away with this. And the 22, I think if we were to line all of them back up, if a caution were to come out and then have a restart, I know that isn't going to happen at this point. But if that were to have happened in this race, I think that the 22 and the 92 could have very reasonably ended up first and second in this one in any order. I think that the 22 really has a good long-run car, and right now is working on the 54. We've seen how difficult it is to pass here at Rockingham, but 2 in the top 3, and then the 29 is back up to the 20th position. It's really, really good for that whole team.
And Cameron Lessard, one last shout out for him. He's not had race-winning equipment very long in his Nitro National Series career, but he has it now, and he's doing a fantastic job. We're coming to 2 laps to go. He might run out of time to hang on to get this victory. But Cameron Lessard, I would be very surprised if that 54 didn't get at least one by the end of this season.
I totally agree. And with a run like this, at a track like this, I think that's all the indication you need that 54 car is definitely going to be somebody you need to beat this year if you want to have a shot at the title.
But meanwhile, it's been all Brandon Smith so far. He's led all but 3 laps of this race so far, coming to take the white flag right here to start his final lap of the race. And for Brandon Smith, like I said, this has been a horrible, horrible time. He was questioning for a while if he even wanted to do this again for 2026. But look at what he's done now. Down the backstretch for the final time, and coming into turn 3, it's not going to fix everything, but it'll certainly boost morale for Brandon Smith, who for the first time in his Nitro National Series career is going to go to victory lane. Brandon Smith finally gets the job done at Rockingham.
Oh, and what a great race from the 92 team. They put together a perfect car today, and they just led pretty much from wire to wire here, other than during the pit stop cycle, and just never encountered a challenge in this whole race. Very, very well done.
And Cameron Lessard just managed to hold off DJ Kurtis for second. Kurtis, of course, 2 podiums to start the season. Very impressive from the rookie. Paul Villalobos, another rookie in 4th spot. Strong effort from him as well. Ahead of Angel Gutierrez, gets his first top 5 of the season. DeMax 6 gets his second top 10 of the year ahead of AJ Zhao. David Richardson, first career top 10 in the Nitro National Series for him, ahead of Nick Breeding, who started this race down in 27th. He is likely our biggest mover of the race to get all the way up to 9th, and Justin Whitmer rounds out the top 10. But boy, Brandon Smith, this has got to be such a big deal for him. After everything he's been through the last few months, this has got to be a really good treat for him.
Yes, feeling great for that whole organization, and especially Brandon Smith. Just a very well done job here at Rockingham, and to make this epic comeback, kind of complete the story in a positive to end it. That's really good to begin this season on absolutely the right foot, and hopefully to carry this momentum for a long ways after this race is over. So the celebration will be, I'm sure, pretty hard tonight, and that'll be good. That'll be something that is well deserved, and everybody needs a little bit.
A lot of cheers, a few tears, I'm sure, as well. But for Brandon Smith, nothing but perfection here today. But with that being said, from Duke Anzac and from myself as well, thanks for joining us for an epic day of racing at The Rock. We'll see you again next week at Las Vegas Motor Speedway for race number 3 of the season. We've had some great racing there over the years, and I'm sure that'll continue once we head out there next week. But until we see you at Las Vegas Motor Speedway for race number 3, we close the book on race 2 at Rockingham, and congratulations has to be given out to Brandon Smith, who was questioning for a while if he was going to come back and do this again, but he clearly made the right decision here because he is now a 1-up Nitro National Series winner.